Okay, so the thing is, we don't have much time, but we have much to discuss. Oh, collapsing time is something that's happening in your field. Let me just go ahead and quickly set this up because I've started this message before I was even ready, before you're ready. I don't feel like either of us are ready for the shifts that are occurring. The first message that's coming through is it's going to become evident that you've shifted timelines, and this could be something I'm hearing that reveals itself to you even in the most mundane ways. I'm seeing it as subtle mandala effects or butterfly effects, and you're first going to see this within your own subjective journey, but then that's going to become evident in differing realities. I'm seeing different ways that we're viewing and perceiving reality, where you're going to see that ripple out into mandala effects or collective timelines. It's going to become obvious that collectively we've shifted into a higher order, so much so that the quality of our life experiences, I'm just seeing, are going to become immense, become so profound. I'm seeing resources find you on your path. I'm seeing things that are going to be incredibly productive for your soul's journey, and I'm also seeing incredibly supportive in the intentions that you had before incarnation. So I just want to share with you this astral travel message, but this is first of all the message that was coming through. It could be through different signs on the street. I'm seeing it as a dream realm. The moment where, you know, when you wake up inside of a dream and you become lucid, there is a moment in space-time travels where you're going to wake up inside of the dream or physical reality, and you're going to notice that something shifted. Something has split off until it ends up creating vast differences from your initial universe that you were in. Okay, right, the version of self that you're embodying within your current timeline is so vastly different after some kind of profound transformation that you've moved through. This is the reason why. Where I'm being shown lightning strike. I swear that was in a superhero movie. There was something around lightning striking and then unlocking these powers. It's a moment that Peter Parker was bit by the spider and it unlocked these, you know, abilities. I'm seeing some kind of moment that was catalytic within your journey, has transformed you in a very invisible way, in a way that has been experienced by you but cannot really be explained. It's going to be explained through the unavoidable effect that's now occurring within your life. And I'm seeing it's because of some kind of conscious cause, and the cause was the return back to the self. Immeasurable acts of self-love that are now corresponding with, I'm seeing forms of love from the universe that you're going to be able to measure inside of your own experience. So I'm seeing something literally materialize, but it's literally the moment where reality now begins reconfiguring itself to correspond to the version of self that you're embodying within your current timeline. It's not that you're going anywhere new, it's that a new form begins to emerge around you. Consciousness travels into a new event, and that's what time is, where a new space begins to take form. That's literally what I'm seeing for you. And the new space that you're in is, it starts small. This was the message that was coming through. It might be like small things. I'm getting hot even channeling for this message real quick. It starts as really small things. It starts as, you know the moment where there's a moment where your brain needs to render, like it needs to comprehend something that's just shifted, almost like a moment of vertigo. I'm seeing that happen for you, where you're having to like double take at something, because I swear this was just there and now it's there. It's going to start as small glitches, and then it's going to unfold, and I'm seeing cascade into your experience where it just becomes undeniable that reality has now recalibrated itself. That's what this is. Okay, so the first message in the astral, I said there's a version of you that feels like there's major expansion that's brewing in your field. And the reason this expansion is happening is because you're going to know what to do with it. That's what this is. The expansion could be visibility. The expansion could be recognition. The expansion could be ideas, opportunities, epiphanies, because you're going to know what to do with this. Then I said the version of self that you're embodying will mirror in the reality that corresponds and reflects back your internal state. I saw this as cultivating a profound sense of, self-trust, where you merge with an entire other universe. that's what this is. It's like the soul becomes a vortex that connects you with other multiverses, and that's the incredible potential of the human. I'm seeing you unlock the full human package, and I literally said that you were jumping into a vortex of fortune. So, and I said, you already got there. You're just understanding the how within this quantum structure. Everything already happened, and yet you're creating it to see it. When you shift your vibrational belief system or your perception, your field begins responding. And I said, from that momentum, you start acting on it and you create a parallel timeline for it. I'm seeing something around conscious choices of how you navigate new terrain, and I'm hearing honor some type of calling right now. It's not even about the timeline that you're leaving, it's about the timeline that you're entering into. And this is a time within yourself. You are that event, and now a new space begins to emerge around the event that you've become. The first scene I saw was with a really beautiful soul that I got to meet. And anyway, we were together in the astral realm. This person knows who they are. And we were looking outside at this observatory site and speaking about ley lines and how important it was. And once the overall archetype of the soul that was overlaid on this site had shapeshifted and transformed, the train started moving. Then the next scene I saw was a slice of cake, and the flavor kept changing in front of you until you decided which version of reality you wanted to taste and experience. I said they all exist in quantum superposition, in infinite potential, and what your dominant subconscious core belief system was in frequency would end up determining the flavor or version of reality that you'll have. Okay, then in the last scene, this was the main thing. In the last scene, I saw this archetype that's usually very posed and almost stoic-like. And as soon as she started expressing her inner child outwardly, she started dancing, she started playing. I literally saw a complete parallel version of her, where she moved and shapeshifted from like a serious kind of archetype. You can think about it as like a Queen of Swords kind of energy into a Queen of Cups type of energy. And it was like this huge shift in timelines. And I said the moment that she did that, it opened herself up to vast portions of her potential. There's an energy just around you transforming and now reality reorganizing itself to correspond to the version of self that you are embodying and inhabiting within your current timeline. That's literally what this is giving. And so I keep seeing moments of, what's it called? Is it kind of deja vu, but it's not really deja vu. It's just moments. Let me see if I can try to define this. Let's get a keyword for this. What's a keyword that we can define? What's the definition of noticing the mandala effect take place in your own life, like a being begins to see glitches within their own experience? That's literally exactly what this is. It definitely reminds you of sun energy, of time behaving non-linearly. So noticing the mandala effect within your own life can describe the experience of becoming aware that something in your reality appears to be different from how you distinctively remember it. Rather than only noticing collective examples, this is where you can begin to perceive personal discontinuities. So this could be details, conversations, places, relationships, timelines, or outcomes that seem to have changed without a clear transition. This is literally a rift within the fabric of space-time where there's an invisible current that's flown you away into another realm and literally another dimensional layer of this reality. And so it's happening without a break. It's a wormhole energy without breaking the fabric of space-time. With no break within space-time, there is this shift that's occurred. So it also says it can feel as though your internal memory and external reality are no longer perfectly corresponding. So glitches within one's experience can represent reality again becoming incredibly malleable, remembering an event differently from everyone else, noticing an object detail somewhere that it supposedly wasn't before, feeling that a person's history or behavior has abruptly shifted. Something's going on. It ruptures automatic perception, where you're no longer moving unconsciously through your life, but you begin examining the seams of your own experience. So the being, which is you, is going to begin detecting anomalies within the architecture of your own experiences, moments where your memory and present reality diverge, creating a sensation that the timeline has been edited, rearranged, or reconfigured. That's exactly what this is. Because it was reminding me yesterday when I was editing, if you know anything on CapCut, when you edit and you exit a file or exit a timeline, I'm hearing exit or evolve beyond a certain archetype or belief system, it says, wait, the interface is loading. And the interface is where spirit meets matter. And I'm seeing merging the human nature and the divine nature and embodying that, inhabiting that state of coherence leads to this very powerful vortice that you've created around yourself. That's what this is. Recognizing yourself as the eternal being moving through space-time, but it's beyond that now. It's space-time moving and experiencing and expressing itself through you. That's what this is. And so there's something new that's happening through you as a conduit. I'm going to get a message for this and then I'm going to go. I don't even know where to begin. Let's see this. And I got low battery, so this is going to be a quick one. Okay. The message is anomaly. 3333 at the base. Gratitude. Anomaly. Are you freaking kidding me? This is a deviation from what's statistically probable. So what's happened is that you've placed yourself at the edge of your local cluster, at the edge of your local universe, where it talks about you've placed yourself at the edge of your local cluster and you've done something that's statistically improbable inside of your local timeline. And so reality is like, hold on. You used to be coordinate A and now you're operating as coordinate B inside of coordinate A's timeline. That's not right. You belong in this universe, but it's not that you go anywhere. Again, it's that a new form begins to emerge around you. So what reality does is, because it's malleable, it's not static, you now begin to see timeline A or universe A reconfigure itself to match the frequency of universe B, because you're inhabiting universe B inside of timeline A. Does that make sense? I'm going to read it to you. It's something that you're doing that's a deviation. And what you're going to do, or what you're going to be witnessing is almost what I want to say. I think this is inside of this drawer. God, where is the card? Okay, here. Anomaly. Something is shifting. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on, but it's freaking magical. And it's going to get to the point where collectively, huge mandala effects. It's giving me it's giving the Schumann resonance. So the originality that defines you. Difference brings forth new things, the unseen, and makes the seemingly impossible possible. Understand difference as a gift and not something which marginalizes you. Difference brings forth new things, the unseen, and makes the seemingly impossible possible. An anomaly is a deviation from what's considered normal, natural, or foreseeable. An anomaly is a change or deviation from what's generally perceived as normal, natural, predictable. The absolute strength is sometimes forgotten in the copy-paste of the tri-dimensional plane. So this is the thing, even I'm only noticing this for the first time reading this book, and I've read this page multiple times. What it does is, I thought it was a typo at first, where like for years or however long I've had this deck, I felt like they kept repeating themselves, but I'm now noticing there's small distinctions between each sentence, and that is an anomaly. There's an anomaly that's hidden within the experience. The more you pick up on this, you're not going to be able to unsee it. That's what this is. There's small anomalies within each sentence, and so it appears like it's the same, but it's hidden in between the lines. So an anomaly is a deviation, right? It talks about the absolute strength is forgotten, the copy and paste of the tri-dimensional plane. No one is superior or inferior to another. We are all unique and incomparable at the same time. A word, verb, and sound can coexist in a single space. Celebrate you and honor your originality. It talks about conscious contact that you can make. You may want to work with sacral energy. It says, I will not be who you want me to be, because then I would stop being who I am, and I will not stop being who I am for who you want me to be. It's wearing orange. You might want to work with orange. Orange could be something that's symbolic for you or significant for you. 3333 is a gratitude portal. And there's something about being grateful for the fact that this exists within the field itself, where you do live in a realm where if things have got boring, you can choose to collapse a new timeline instantaneously around you. And I'm seeing something around informer, like you're informing reality, but then also becoming an informant inside of your reality. Almost like what's the word? It kind of gives me what's the energy? This isn't gonna be for everyone, but like infiltrating a system. Can you tell me what it means to infiltrate a system? Like, let's say a being from universe B in quantum non-locality streamlines itself into coordinate A in universe A, and now the being in universe A begins operating as its coordinate within universe B. Does it end up becoming an informant inside of that reality because it knows something that its original version of self wouldn't have, where it extends and branches and begins embodying alternative ways of being inside of its current timeline? That's what this is giving me. And now it's like reality is readjusting and reconfiguring itself. Hopefully this makes sense. Some of you, I'm gonna lose you, but it's okay. Like, it's all right. All right. To infiltrate a system means to enter an existing structure and operate from within it rather than attempting to change it from the outside. You can't change things externally, but what you can control is yourself. Okay. So universe A contains coordinate A and the version of the being that has developed there. Universe B represents an alternative developmental pathway, a different set of experiences, adaptations, or possibilities. The streamlining is the metaphorical integration of qualities associated with universe B into the perspective of the being in universe A. Within that model, the being isn't necessarily replacing its counterpart, but instead it begins expressing capacities that were previously unrealized in its current trajectory. The idea of becoming an informant is an interesting metaphor because it talks about someone inside of a system who has access to information unavailable to most participants. You're literally becoming the glitch inside of the system, baby. I'm gonna do an astral travel message another day when I have more time, because I was seeing that in the astral realm. That's a whole nother story for another day. In your framework, the being functions as an informant only in the sense that it carries a broader perspective than it previously had. There's a reading that you should watch, and it's one that I did in Peru inside of the Sacred Valley, and I spoke about what happens when we carry objects from one dimension into another. They literally become non-existent because we can't bring them forth. And sometimes we enter into dimensional realms where consciousness expands into new dimensions. It can no longer return back to its old form. And if we try to take an object from like a higher dimension and then bring that into a low dimension, it also is something that becomes invisible to those around us in the field. They're not able to see it because they have not yet expanded into that dimensional, I'm hearing capacity or range of thinking, right? And the higher the dimension is reflected through the deeper that one has met themselves. And that's a paradox. The deeper that we go inwards, the higher levels of awareness that we're able to ascend into when it comes to frameworks of thinking or feeling or viewing or navigating this existence. And that's what this is giving. Oh my God, even my SD card just ran out of space. All right. So it literally reminds me of the message that I share with you all the time, which is it's a fish inside of this two-dimensional world. And so it only knows right or left. But eventually this higher dimensional being, right, when we move through hyperspace, there's different octaves of ourself existing within these different planes of existence. And so we begin interacting with each other in this system. And so this intangible hand takes this fish, plucks it outside of its world of 2D, and it now enters into the world of up that it didn't know previously. And so it has the world of up, down, and left and right. So it's just opened its field up to a completely different version of reality. Essentially, it's just ascended into a completely different realm where now it's placed inside of a fishbowl above the river. So what used to be its ceiling has now become its floor. This is literally what I'm seeing happen for you within your own internal realms. That's what abduction is, okay? So then it's in a completely different realm, in a realm where beings are walking and they're not swimming, in a world where beings are breathing, but it's not inside of water. What? There's a different kind of atmosphere that's elevated into, and then it's pulled out of the fishbowl back into the world of just left and right, but it knows something now that it can't unsee, you know, and it tells everyone inside of this field or the other fish, hey, there's a world of da 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 da. You're dancing to music right now, where if you try to point this out and say, don't you notice that this and this and this happened, or that, just that awareness should be very silent right now. There is something that you're picking up on. You have to watch that reading. I have to watch that reading back. I'm going to link it down below in Peru. It's so important. That's activating in the field. Anyway, so it also says an informant only in the sense that it carries a broader perspective than it previously had. It begins recognizing assumptions, limitations, or patterns that once seemed invisible. So questioning the norms that previously felt unquestionable. Yeah, recognizing opportunities that its former worldview would have overlooked, and integrating new ways of thinking and acting that expand its repertoire. That's so interesting. So new information, embodying alternative ways of being. Yeah, rather than being locked into a habitual pattern, it has access to a larger set of responses. The being does not escape its reality, it expands the range of possibilities it can embody within it. That's the difference between creating inside of your current timeline, which is a free will of perception, and noticing opportunities. And I'm hearing doorways and passageways that this myopic worldview wouldn't have provided you. And I'm seeing that as the doorway into the heart space, the doorway into compassion, which opens you up to dimensional fields that, you know, like fear could never, right? Or resentment could never, or self-judgment could never. There's something around complete liberation through that greater level of awareness. So from inside the same coordinate, it begins expressing capacities that previously existed only as unrealized potential. That's literally the difference between, it's not a transfer of self that's physical. Again, it's more energetic that's happening. And so that's you anchoring your higher self into your current timeline, and then your higher self begins creating inside of the timeline. That's what this is. It doesn't even matter about what is happening. It's about how you're navigating it. And there's something that you're fluidly moving through right now and you're being called to. It gives me just keep swimming energy. Just keep swimming and allow yourself to become less dense in the medium you're immersed in inside of this dream of physical reality. Because the more you sustain this level of coherence, there's just things that you're picking up on and interpreting that you just can't unsee. And all you're doing is connecting with what it is that you've always been and what this realm has always been. So I'm going to love and leave you right there. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, oh, let me get an advice card. Hold on. I'm going to get one advice card for you. Right, the advice is telescope. The telescope talks about seeing beyond what the human eyes can see. Again, the human eyes can only see 1% of the light spectrum. Your primary antenna, which is your third eye, your multisensory perception system, is tuning into what's happening in dimensions beyond what it is that your human eyes can perceive. And so in a linear fashion, your logical mind is going to catch up with more change that happens down the timeline. Because eventually, I'm hearing this incremental choices, incremental steps that create tiny branching universes. But eventually, you get to a universe that is at the edge of your local cluster, and then you're on the edge of a complete new realm of possibilities. So I'm seeing it as opening yourself up to vast portions of your potential. Selective shield is being really intentional with whom you share this with, and if the opinions of others at the base penetrate your internal field, are you going to allow that to govern the relationship of what you know is truth, ultimate truth, with what it is that you see, what it is that you're picking up on? That shouldn't determine the way that you see yourself. So intuition, making zoom in, increased vision. We are a part of a channel that goes both up and down. The same interplanetary importance, a microscope and a telescope are tools which prevent us from missing out on the micro and the macro, but they are not necessarily for our cosmic consciousness, which can be achieved without limitations or external objects. However, we can achieve cosmic consciousness without the need for external objects. The telescope refers to the object that we are all aware of as a tool which helps us see further than the human eye, in order to capture the display of celestial bodies. This card refers to our inner telescope and the mental power to see beyond what our eyes are able to. We know that there are planets out there, and we are able to see them thanks to the telescope. We know that there are energies around us, and if we use our inner telescope effectively, we'll be able to see them too. Confirmation enough for you? gonna leave you there. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing because we'd love to have you around along for the journey. Let me know what are the signs and symbols that you're picking up on. This is a safe space as a communication hub. So as we go along our space-time travels, we collect this data, we can share it within this network. I'm always interested to hear. So let me know that you're resonating with this message and that you're feeling it too within this shared collective in which we've all come together and we've been drawn in through resonance within the morphic field. Comment down the telescope or the third eye, up to you. Let me know. And yeah, that's gonna be it. Toodaloo!